GM, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday, December 30th edition of the AM Show, hosted live on the AlphaMint Discord. We have 2 shows left until the new year, and I know everybody is raring to go for a really, really exciting 2022. I am your host, R2Degen, and I am joined with me, as always, by Mr. Free Market CreatureToadz.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Oh my God, I love it. Love the energy this morning. Holy. Like your neighbors are all tuning in whether they like it or not now. How are you today? What's going on?
And he's not even listening. He's not even listening. What?
Oh, the person that okay, so who did you promise that to? And you know. That was pretty impressive, actually. No, I'm reeling from that performance that you just gave us. That was incredible. And now I'm trying to find my Discord. Can you hear me? How anticlimactic was that? Rugged by Discord again.
It's a regular occurrence, but we get to say rugged by X, and that's so much fun. People say it on Twitter Spaces, and I was rugged by Spaces.
Rugged by everything. Yeah, no, that was very impressive, and I'm glad that you did that. It definitely threw me for a loop. I messed up Discord, and now we have to start over. So, no, I'm just kidding. That was awesome. How are you today? What's going on? How was your Wednesday? I know you downloaded Minecraft with some difficulties as other people's had, but you got in there.
All right, this is going to sound like a boomer story, but yeah, I was just very green when it comes to Minecraft. I tried to navigate the world.
Microsoft products in general.
Yes, but it was tough going. I had a hard time finding places to mine with my pickaxe or my hands, but I know I was earning block while just moving around, so that was an experience. I got a little bored. I could not find the alpha horde. I am pretty much resigned to renting these out to expert Minecraft players now, and I have rented one out already to a new Moon Lounge member. So shout out Der Lieb, who is now using my mouse. They revealed the Critterz. So I got 2 apes, a mouse, and what was the last one?
Oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, you said it before the show. I don't remember what the other one you got was. I got an astronaut helmet. I'm kind of pumped about that. That looks pretty cool. We'll dig into Critterz in a little bit and talk about that a bit more and see what's what with the newly minted metaverse that we've all been participating in. We'll take a quick look at the crypto markets. Not much to report back on today. It looks like things have kind of settled in around 47,000 for Bitcoin, 3,700, 3,800 for Ethereum, and that's where it stands right now. Nothing that particularly alarms me, but we had actually a pretty good conversation about this before the show and you know what this can mean for the markets. And I think that you've kind of sold me on where we're at. It doesn't seem like we are due for any kind of large drawdown just because we never really got that like pure euphoria phase. But where are you sitting at with this?
Yeah, this is a really reminiscent to me of something that happens in traditional markets all the time. And we've seen the sentiment get more and more bearish as price has been consolidating and just kind of leaning a little towards bearish on the chart. And what happens is, first of all, you got the boredom and the fatigue that happens as you go more and more sideways. But this is just a phenomena that you see all the time in traditional markets and crypto right now. When you look at the sentiment on Twitter, you will see that people will quickly turn bearish and doomsday the moment we start to pull back. And, you know, crypto routinely pulls back 10 to 15%. This isn't like stocks. And I am always shocked at how much people will quickly start tweeting, "This is the end, pack it up, hope you sold." And that's usually actually a very encouraging sign, because bull markets climb walls of worry. And when you see that half the participants are still not necessarily bearish, but certainly not sold on the up only full send to Jupiter in the first quarter thesis, you're starting to get towards a place where we can resume the uptrend. Until sentiment is at a spot where it can go up and almost catch everyone by surprise, I think we're going to continue to see consolidation that tricks both bulls and bears and frustrates everybody.
Yeah, and as we've mentioned on previous shows, when everybody's bored with Bitcoin and Ethereum and DeFi, maybe that's a good sign for NFTs. And we've been firmly planted into a little bull run here towards the end of the year that I think can sustain itself into the beginning of next year, no problem.
Yeah, stability is very bullish for NFTs. People have this Ethereum as long as it's not going up or down a lot that they have to watch it. They enjoy spending it on stuff. And right now that's non-fungible token.
The NFTs, yeah, and I know everybody kind of does the eye roll when you say just zoom out, because it doesn't really like encapsulate what's going on in the present term. But just some frame of reference, if you had bought Ethereum a year ago today, it was $752. So there you go. A little bit of other news. We were talking about Radio Shack still existing, which was surprising to us. I think that was last week, could have been last year, who knows, I can't even remember anymore. But BlockbusterDAO wants to raise $5 million in NFT sales to buy the defunct video brand. BlockbusterDAO has $5 million fundraising goal with the aim of purchasing the rights to the Blockbuster brand. For those of you that don't know, there is only one Blockbuster store remaining in the world, I believe. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's in Alaska. Is
that? It is now in Oregon. Two that were in Alaska actually closed. We used to visit them when we were there. There was one in Kenai.
Right. Okay. So I take that back. It is in Oregon. And this is a pretty funny story. They highlighted in a tweet that since 2013, sentiment has improved from a score of -20 to +14. In other words, people's feelings for Blockbuster turned positive once its stores were gone. I don't know why that made me laugh so much, but obviously once you don't have access to something, the nostalgia comes out. Blockbuster is obviously very nostalgic, and in fact, I think the last remaining Blockbuster is also an Airbnb where you could go in there and hang out for the night, which is actually a pretty cool idea. But do you think this has any legs? Do you think this is something that the people want?
I like the concept. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about the team running it, and I tend to invest in teams, but nostalgia is a very powerful thing. I think that's why pixel art works. I think that's why a lot of the P2E games are being formatted like the dungeon crawlers and RPGs of past. And I think Blockbuster hits that sweet spot for a lot of people. Renting a video on a Friday night, it's very nostalgic, a lot of good memories, and I think a Radio Shack DAO would actually do very well also.
Yeah, I flip-flop in between whether or not this is just something to make some headlines, kind of like the Constitution DAO. I have no idea what they plan on doing with the names, how this relates to crypto, if it does at all. But I mean, it just caught my eye, and it was just funny because we were talking about Radio Shack and Blockbuster being a prime nostalgia brand to probably undergo something like this. So maybe they were listening to us, maybe not. I also hate the targeted ads on these fucking sites because I have no idea why I'm getting looks like pregnancy bras or something on there. So amazing. A little sidebar there. Side boob, yeah, exactly. Other news: number of non-zero Ethereum addresses hits record high above 71 million, according to Glassnode. The explosion in popularities of NFTs is playing a large part. I'm fairly convinced that at least 15 million of those are shoebangs. So he's probably got a lot to do with that number being pumped up. But no, pretty interesting. These record-setting wallet numbers and stuff are always encouraging too. It does make a difference. It does give a pretty good indication of participants in the marketplace. And I would completely agree that NFTs are playing a large part in that. But in brief, the number of Ethereum addresses holding some amount of ETH has topped $71 million. And this have obviously been steadily on the rise. Good for Ethereum, I think.
Yeah, a very bullish sign. And I think that number is going to increase a lot next year as Coinbase brings millions of customers into NFTs. I think they have 2.3 million wallets. But what's more interesting is those 2.3 million wallets are going to tell their friends they get rich off the next Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Yeah, I think that we are. I mean, God, I keep forgetting that Coinbase is actually still just kind of like waiting in the wind, and that this is something that's coming. Gotta believe that this is a gigantic catalyst for NFTs that's on the horizon, right? Like, how could it not be?
I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet yesterday. Is the Coinbase marketplace actually a thing? Like, isn't this so NFT world? Like, if your project was announced a mere 4 weeks ago and you haven't put anything out, it's like, was this even really a project? I feel like people just like to tweet stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, so.
I've heard some rumblings about that in a particular Pixel project that we've been watching as well.
Yes, very closely.
Yeah, and then finally in some news, I saw somebody post this in the Degen Dojo today. If you were watching that Naruto, the B-Jutsu project, that had quite a big hype to get into the Discord. I think it was 60,000 people in the Discord in a matter of minutes or an hour or something like that. Signs are strongly pointing to this just being a complete farce, honestly. Now take that with a grain of salt. People on Twitter do like their hot takes and, you know, dunking on people and whatnot. But this tweet is saying, like, sadly, I have to share that the popular anime officially licensed, in quotes, Naruto NFTs by Bujutsu and founders Canadian Clay, Sydney K. Taylor is a purported scam. I do not tweet this lightly. Going public before January 7th with everything to stop more people from becoming victims. If you look on their Twitter profiles, anything that they've posted regarding the project has been removed from Twitter with copyright issues, which is highly pointing to the fact that they do not have any licensing for the Naruto brand. And if you want to just talk about maybe things that seem obvious, these are two people, two Canadians that I don't think have any like weight or pull in NFTs or in the marketing space or, you know, the anime space that are doing this. And like it just does not seem likely that they got the massive licensing brand to the massive licensing rights to do the Naruto brand.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me two high school kids from Saskatoon aren't running point on the largest anime property in history for their first NFT debut?
Yeah, seems likely. Somebody, when you put it like that, somebody like dug up a check with him like holding one of those oversized novelty checks of like $3,000 for their the launch of the Bijutsu thing, which is like it looked like he won like his high school entrepreneur contest or something like that. I don't think that was actually the case, but yeah, all signs are pointing to this maybe not being as much of a thing as people were hoping. But I mean, keep an eye on it. Maybe they can come up with some proof that it actually is, and this is all just FUD. But definitely important to note, especially when something has that much hype around it. You don't want to see people get taken, the shirts off their backs or something. So
I do know that whenever the real Naruto project actually drops, I will also avoid it like the plague, as that art and show is just foobar.
Is that a thing? I'm not really.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that stance. I'm too old to even know what it is, so I'm definitely going with I hate it. It's stupid.
My only experience with Naruto is remember when they were raiding Area 51? When people thought it was going to be a good idea to congregate in the desert and storm Area 51, and there was that news.
I don't remember that.
You don't?
No. Tell me about this.
Oh,
this is interesting.
No, it was just like it was like several. It was supposed to be like hundreds of thousands of people storming Area 51, which seems like a really bad idea because they all have automatic weapons and it's a highly guarded military base. But there was a news reporter that was kind of out there reporting on it, and in the background, this kid was doing the Naruto run back and forth behind him, and it was hilarious. It was a meme for quite some time, and a good one at that. But that's like literally, I'm not really in on the anime scene, so I couldn't even comment on whether or not it's a good one. Yeah, King Wizard is posted a GIF of someone doing a Naruto run in the AM show voice chat, so that was hilarious. But
Naruto is a very popular ramen spot in New York City, and I would pay top dollar for ramen NFTs, especially if there were like little peppies floating around in the soup. Anybody does that, I expect royalties on the back.
Why don't you just go do it?
That project would sell out.
Just go talk to them.
Because I may or may not have some other projects I'm working on. Current, but you're like,
shenanigans.
Drop it.
Come on,
Naruto ramen NFTs.
Yeah, I mean, hey, crazier things have worked in this market. But yeah, back to the topic at hand. Just keep an eye on that. Don't burn yourself on it. It is kind of weird. These are like doxed people posting about it. So if they're really actually trying to run a scam, I'd be
there are
confused.
no IQ tests to get on the internet. Yeah. Anyone can log on, and this is proven daily.
Yeah, well, you could take an IQ test on the internet.
You can.
Yeah, mine is 320 apparently. No, I'm just kidding.
Good. So you're on the far end of the bell curve, which is important.
Negative 320 sometimes. After minting my
far end of the bell curve. There's Carson. There's Carson showing up late. Missed the whole Good Morning Vietnam thing. I'll have to listen to the replay. Hi, Carson.
It will go up on YouTube for sure. Much to everybody else's chagrin, I'm sure. Okay, let's get into NFT projects. WGMI not showing too much. Cyberkong's Genesis had a good day, but it was really on the back of one purchase that drove the floor up to about 65. Other than that, I think we're in a minting market right now. Everybody's finding projects, flipping them, taking positions in newer projects towards the end of the year. Other projects that have been looking good. Again, Wolf Game was doing pretty well. And Galactic Apes is having a little bit of a rebound. It reached a low of 0.17 and it got as high as 0.33. We said it on the show. It felt like it had to have been a buy at that point. But I mean, it's so hard to gauge in this market where people's attention are going, and whether or not Galactic Apes maybe didn't play their cards right, and if they could rebound from it. But again, the art is just always so good that sometimes it can overcome some of the FUD. A project that did manage to kind of come back from the dead, it was literally at a 0.000 floor. And you've been pounding the table on this for a little bit, and you kind of had a little bit of a win yesterday with it. Was CreatureToadz. We did mention it. I am happy that I actually listened to you for once, and use Genie at the same time to sweep up a bunch of these for really cheap. But yeah, CreatureToadz had a bit of a run yesterday. Right now it's sitting at about a 0.08 floor. People that have been quote unquote bag holding this for a while definitely took their opportunity to find some exit liquidity, which is fine. Good redistribution of JPEGs into people who are actively seeking this. Did you ever get to the bottom of who it was though? Like what kind of kickstarted this little run on CreatureToadz?
Yeah, well, I figured out what kickstarted it, but basically, I had loved CreatureToadz from the moment I saw the first sample. And if people don't know the history here, this guy who was just such a fan of both projects, Creatures and CryptoToadz, decided to make a mashup, and he wasn't planning to do an actual release originally. He literally made them as fan art. And I forget if it was Gremlin or one of the people involved with one of the projects retweeted him, and he got like 15,000 retweets, and he went viral. And so many people were like, you need to do these. You need to actually do a drop of these. So he went to work for a few weeks, put together a really dope generative drop. And I have said from the beginning, and AlphaMint went heavy on that drop. Like, people love these. I think they look better than creatures themselves, okay? And unfortunately, it launched right into the teeth of the last bear market. There was a lot of rancor and poor planning on the launch. It was one of the first Discords that was hacked. I mean, there was just a lot of baggage to go along with this launch. And after it got up to 0.4, it quickly fell under mint price, and then eventually just died. And as gas went insane, it was one of those projects that got under 0.05, and people thought it would never be heard from again. Now, my original thesis was that these projects that had a moment this year, and the moment for CreatureToadz was defined as it started a mashup trend. And I know there was one or two before them, Currency Punks, big shout out to them. But CreatureToadz was a phenomenon. Like, the entire NFT world was hyped for this drop, and it saw crazy secondary volume after it did. It got up to a 0.4 floor, which is crazy for this collection. And I said any project that had a moment in 2021, as we go into next year and new blood comes into this market, they're going to look at these projects as historic, and they're going to need very cheap entries, right? These people aren't going to be buying apes and cool cats. So that was why I liked them. I had been buying them anytime I could. And one day, someone dropped a couple rares for literal zero that they had paid 0.4 and 0.7 for. They were obviously harvesting for taxes. But another thing that kind of popped into my mind at the end of the last year was I had noticed that all these P2E games are really just yield farms with gamified front end that give you some cool choices that basically make it fun to participate in these DeFi yield farms. Well, I thought to myself, the most popular yield farm of the year has been this Ohm. Anybody that can tie an NFT to some sort of Ohm fork is going to win the day. And this was just some random thought I had. I don't know anything too much about Ohm or how it works. And then all of a sudden, this project that I had just loved because of the art and the history announces that they're doing an Ohm fork. It was like the universe saying, yeah, you really got to go hard in this. I've been telling everyone else to. And then yesterday, they made an announcement about the original CreatureToadz. So the way the Ohm fork was going to work is that only the baby toads, which you breed with the original ones, were going to be staked for this currency. Now, there's only 4,444 of the baby toads because you need to use 2 of the original collection to create a baby. I thought this was pretty brilliant, as you're creating a lower supply on your next drop, and you're tying it to some sort of yield function for the underlying utility token. Thought it was absolutely brilliant. But yesterday, because people were saying, well, what are the original ones going to be worth if only the baby toads do that? They announced that even the original ones will be participating in this staking to earn Croak, which is their underlying utility token. And it saw a hell of a sweep all the way up to 0.17 at one point. But yes, many people have been stuck in this project for a long time. The anticipated dump came, and it came hard. They're still sitting at 0.08 today, which is an achievement in my mind. And I would think that a lot of the ones that are below 0.1 have already been used for breeding. And if you are interested in this play, I would actually focus on the baby toads themselves right now. There's less of them, and they're going for less than what it would cost you to buy 2 toads and breed one. They haven't given us any specifics on how much a baby toad versus a Genesis toad will yield. But there's so much going on here. And somebody unrelated to AlphaMint or Kaiju's, where I had also started a thread about CreatureToadz, swept really hard last night. And I don't think that they're going away. I think they're going to come back. I will actually buy more today. I wanted to build up to a certain size position. And that's why that was my CreatureToadz. Saw a decent cook yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that there's worse things that you could purchase for 0.05 right now. And like I said, and you kind of outlined, like, people use this as exit liquidity. They were stuck in the project, and I mean, when things have been sitting in your hidden folder for a while, basically completely illiquid, I don't really blame people for seeing this pop up and then just saying, oh, this is my opportunity. And I'm sure some people, if they manage to sell around the peak of like 0.15, are very happy with the exit position that they got, considering that probably a month ago, this would have been considered a dead project to them. And, for all intents and purposes, it kind of was. We have mentioned in the past, like, don't be surprised when some of these, your hidden folder starts to come to life as new people enter the space and they aren't spending 1 ETH, 2 ETH, 10 ETH on existing projects. And, they start to scrape the floor with these things. But the people are still trying to use that for exit liquidity. I'm seeing on the activity they're going for 0.05. But there has been that redistribution. People now have a myriad of different entry points, and somebody that probably bought at 0.15 yesterday, 0.12, I don't think is likely to sell overly quickly. So we've kind of reset where we're at with CreatureToadz. So, take a look at it. You are right. The art is great. That's probably the one biggest reason why I finally did say fuck it and bought, 4 of them. That with the babies thing, which stupidly enough, I didn't check. Please, if you're thinking about buying it, go to the CreatureToadz website. It's CreatureToadz with a Z.com, and you can go and look up whether or not they've been used for breeding. But yeah,
yet you were somewhat saved yesterday as they made that new announcement that the original ones will be yielding as well. So that was a good news
there we go. Okay. Well, that is good. But so you obviously didn't sell any of these, and no. This is a hold for you. But you're on record saying that this is going to flip creatures themselves. So that's kind of your next milestone in the CreatureToadz legacy for you. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've made this proclamation in a few places, including Twitter. I believe it is the most crypto obvious thing that can happen. And we see crazy stuff that doesn't make sense happen all the time. And all the pieces are in place here. These have utility, which CreatureToadz do not. Which Creature World does not. These have a better art, I believe, than Creature World. And this is also we're going into a period right now where the Creature World's community is completely in shambles. And I believe they'll make it. I like creatures too. I just think that it sets up a very, very interesting moment where it could be like when apes flipped punks for 3 seconds. And at some point in February, we see CreatureToadz at like 1.2 and Creature World at 1.19, so I could make my declaratory tweet and then it'll quickly crash back down or whatever. But I do see that happening next year. Given what's happening over in Creature World and what's happening over in CreatureToadz land.
Nothing surprises me in this space anymore, honestly. 2 months ago when we started the show, going out and saying that Bored Apes would flip CryptoPunks within a year, by the end of the year, would have sounded like blasphemy. If you even went back just 4 months ago, that wasn't ever even on the table. The Bored Apes were still a thing and they were still doing very well. But I mean, CryptoPunks were the pinnacle PFP project. And I think as far as most people are concerned, untouchable. But here we are with them neck and neck. CryptoPunks have last time I checked taken the lead. But saying something like this doesn't even phase me anymore because it's totally on the table. No pun intended.
Punks are right on. Apes are right on their heels. They're both at 60, and I really believe they're both going to get above 100 in the first quarter. So
yeah, you think that there's just going to be a complete supply shock of them?
Yeah, I think that you are going to see, and you already started to see it. I saw so many tweets from ape holders who had been there since the beginning who you got to take the life-changing money after a while. Like, of course, you don't want to leave your brothers. You've found this amazing community. But if one JPEG is worth 10 times your real in-life net worth, you have to sell it. And I think in the first quarter of next year, you are going to see celebrities move hard into Bored Apes, and you're going to see people who were there since the beginning start to ring the register. And I toast them. I hold up a glass of champagne to them. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that's actually why we saw a bit of a drawdown on the Bored Apes very briefly there last week, and more of a push into mutant apes. Maybe there was an onset of people that were like, I got to take the 60, 70 ETH here, or if you're holding a more rare one, 100, 200, 300 ETH. and then kind of redeploying some of that capital to kind of stay in the club, right? Because mutants are part of the ecosystem. Mutants get you what the apes do too. And maybe that just felt maybe that's what was going on, because like we've said before in the past, a lot of people got in on these very, very cheap, whether it was like 0.3 back in May, or even 1, 2, 3, 5 ETH a couple months ago. There's a really, really reasonable chance that this is a totally life-changing money. If you have a family to feed, or people in your life that are saying you could have this picture or you could have this house. If you don't have a house, take the house, man. Like, you got to do it. The membership club is great, but it's one thing to be house poor, it's another thing to be JPEG poor, right?
And remember now, okay, punks have been around for less than a year, and exactly 1 year after apes were minted,
apes have been around for less than a year.
You will qualify for. Yep.
Yeah. Sorry.
And
okay.
the moment we go over 1 year, everybody who held an ape is going to be eligible for long-term capital gains tax. Apes are going to crash very hard.
So are you saying
in the middle
that
of this year.
Apes are only Americans? I'm just kidding.
Well, no. I mean, I actually do believe a very large percentage are. As you know, this came out of the Top Shot Discord, and for the longest time, Top Shot was US only. So I believe Bored Apes, more than any other collection, are very, very US centric. But you can bet your butt that next year, as people need money to pay taxes and as Bored Apes turn 1 year old, there is going to be some major selling in that collection, and you won't see that in punk, because punks are 3 years old. Okay, it's going to be one of those things where apes are going to crash down to 30 and punks are going to stay at 60 to 100, somewhere in there. And that's just what's going to happen next year, and it's going to be a great time to buy punk. If you didn't already, everyone's going to be making fun of all the celebrities who bought in January and February. So it'll be like, oh, those idiots bought the top, and that'll be when Uncle Free will be saying, buy the FUD, stop listening to everybody, apes aren't dead. I guarantee we'll be having this conversation in the middle of next year.
It just occurred to me too that I saw this notification when I woke up this morning and forgot to put it into the show. Another instance of a Bored Ape getting hacked. This time was a guy named Todd Kramer on Instagram. And yeah, apparently he lost, I think it was 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 apes, 2, 4, 6, 7 mutants, and a Clone X last night.
I'm completely numb to these stories. They're all melding together at this point. I don't understand. Stop giving away your JPEGs.
No, yeah.
To these people
this was a NFT trader link that was fraudulent, and it shows on Etherscan him manually approving like 20 transactions. This wasn't like one thing that just like took control of his wallet and sent it off. Like apparently, like he was just like kept clicking it, and the hacker, I'm assuming, was sitting on the other end being like, what the fuck? Like, all of them? Really? Thanks. Really sad. But that's how much is that? Tens of millions of dollars?
It really is insanity. I can't. I mean,
dude, it really
to manually approve.
It really does make me, and like, again, if this is an honest hack, like I'm sorry, like this is awful. I don't want to rub salt in the wound. Like, Todd Kramer, if you were the victim of some like really malicious hack and you've now lost 9 figures, 8 figures of NFTs, like this is fucking terrible. But like, how many of these stories have to pop up? You know what I mean? Like, this isn't like some niche project that just gets hacked here and there. Like, we talk about this on a weekly basis. It's a fraudulent link. It's screen sharing and having them change your MetaMask language. It's, trying to back channel so that you can bypass the 2.5% OpenSea transfer fees. And at the cost of what? Like, it fucking sucks. But like, just take care of your shit, man. But I mean, moreover, like, I actually just wonder at this point, it's so ridiculous that like how many of these are just actually just turning into downright fraud, right?
Yeah, I don't know if these are boneheaded schemes or if this is actual just complacency and malfeasance. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's bizarre, and it seems to only happen to the Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Yeah, I mean, like, I started to think about it while you're saying about the long-term capital gains tax and tax loss harvesting and hacking. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe this has just become such a large part of their net worth that they need to write a bunch of it off or something. No idea, but
I think people overemphasize that stuff, and just
it could be. Yeah, I think you're right.
It is the most ridiculous premise. And sure, if you've got some easy tax losses you can harvest, go ahead. But this idea that people are running their entire fucking lives on figuring out how to tax harvest these, it's like, come on. I don't know. Do you know crypto people? This is not what people are occupying their day with. That's all anyone's talking about.
Sure. I mean, you could be right. Regardless, it's I don't understand.
Tune in later today for our tax talk with
perfect segue. No, that's actually true. 1:30 Eastern today. We are having the people on from Zen Ledger to do a project demo with them and talk more about taxes. It won't be the same conversation that we had with Pete and Rich last week. But they actually alluded to the fact that they use Zen Ledger to help their clients as well. So it's something you might be interested in to make your life a little bit easier. 1:30 Eastern today. Enough about taxes and lost Bored Apes. Let's talk about the LandDAO a little bit. We talked about that yesterday. It was a bit of a shit show, and they tried to make things right by giving mints to the OGs, which I was one of. I really wasn't gonna mint this. The price of them on the secondary is like sitting slightly above mint. But I changed my mind and I did pull the trigger on them this morning, and looked like not a lot of people took them up on their offer to extend the Genesis mint to the OGs and the first movers that they had. But this is a Metaverse LandDAO play that has staking, and most importantly, I kept looking at it and I just actually like the art part of it too. It's got some like pixelized nanopass kind of vibes to it. And we've seen worse projects fumble the ball harder and recover from it. So I did actually end up minting that. If anybody is thinking about jumping into that, there might be some coming up on the public for it. I'm not sure how they're playing that. I will report back to you, but I sent you some sneak peeks this morning. What did you think of them?
I think you spent 30 minutes giving me the bearish case on this yesterday morning in our pre-show call, to the point where I just dismissed this project completely. And then the first thing you said to me this morning was, yo, bro, I minted these. I was like, oh. So they look amazing. I think that would be why you minted them. I checked them out. They look really fun. Yeah.
I had a half an hour left to do it before they were cutting off and moving on to the other phase of it. And you know what? I just sat there. I was like messaging Scott. I'm like, I don't know, man. What do you think? You know what? I just on my own accord ended up doing it because I think that they look cool. And I think that we've seen some pretty big fuck ups from projects. And this one was, at the end of the day, pretty innocuous. They did their best to make it right. Whether or not they went about it the right way, I'm not sure. But their contract got botted. I mean, it happens time and time again. We do public sales all the times, like the Littles and those projects where if you weren't using a bot, you had next to no chance of getting your hands on these. And they were the victims of the same thing. Now, they managed their hype in a very strange way, but I don't know. I woke up this morning. I had about an hour and a half to mint these before the time was up, and I just ended up talking myself into it. So yeah, just as a follow-up to the conversation yesterday, I did change my mind.
So it's interesting because I think we were anticipating a Metaland trend developing after the P2E trend. And I don't think it's been as strong or as pronounced. And I think it's just because it was a little early and people are still making sense of what's going on here. People need to feel like there's something to do after you buy the NFT to keep whatever price it sees after the mint, because we know everything's pumping after mint right now. And people really need that next step to be ready to go for it to even maintain the price, let alone continue to go up. And I think that that's just what a lot of these meta land plays suffer from. The hottest meta land play of the year, which is sand, isn't even a functioning metaverse yet. I mean, at least you can walk around in DCL and Minecraft, which is now being forked over and skinned to be a crypto as well. But yeah, I think it's just a little early for these things. And I think LandDAO has as much a chance as any of the other ones. I think it looks as good as Nano. Nano's more detailed, more 3D. These are more pixelated, but I love these little land plays. So
yeah,
I may look at it, especially if it remains depressed.
I'm getting total like old school like SimCity vibes from them or something, right? Like SimCity meets cyberpunk or something like that, which is just pulling on the heartstrings. But yeah, the Discord is open for them now too. It did go pretty quiet after the drama and stuff like that, and like I said, didn't look like the people that they extended the offer to completely aped in. But I don't know. I just a feeling. Could be wrong about that, and if I am wrong, I will definitely move on with my life and we will survive. I don't know.
You're not gonna.
I don't know.
You're not gonna die on the LandDAO hill.
I'm not gonna die on that hill. No. But there's some other hills I'll probably die on, I'm sure. You mentioned Minecraft. We'll just do a little bit of a follow up on that. Critterz NFT did reveal yesterday. We talked about some of the ones we got. As it turns out, the reveal doesn't really have any bearing on the gameplay or any ability to yield more tokens in it or anything like that. Maybe a missed opportunity, maybe not. It depends on what you think should happen. Sometimes in these games, if a more expensive NFT will yield more, then it kind of quickly turns into a pay to win kind of thing. You know what I mean? That it favors the whales. So maybe I think I fall on the side of I'm happy that these are just cosmetic and entry passes into the server. I don't know. What was your take on them? Did the reveal do anything for you?
No, I don't think it gives you any type of multipliers as far as I could tell. And I didn't get the one I wanted, which was the Doge, because some of them could be Doge. So that was one that I wanted, and I am very heartened. I think the floor actually went up a little bit after the reveal, as there seemed to be a bit of a dump yesterday. One person just lambasted the floor with 0.5 listings. I think it's bounced back up to 0.6 since then.
It's at 0.4 right now, actually.
This is oh, it fell back down to 0.4.
Well, volume's dying on a bit.
This is a project I think we're still all pretty excited about, especially because of the renting feature. And I was able to rent one of mine out, and I am excited to earn some block and buy some land. But as far as price, this is very tied to the land, right? So these were up at 1 ETH yesterday morning, and that was when land was selling for 0.6 to 0.8, and there was even a parcel that went for 1.5. But once land started to fall, and I don't know where it is now, but it was at 0.2 yesterday, then you saw the price of the underlying critters start to go with it.
Yeah, I think that there was an initial hype cycle here where, even we kind of got swept up in it, and that's fine. Just that it was like, oh shit, like there is an actual use case for NFTs into existing games. You can play it, you can earn while you're playing it. Minecraft being as popular as it is, it definitely captivated a bunch of people that probably used to play it, maybe even still do play it, and then say, oh, like I could jump in here and play this game and have some fun with it. I do think that it's it's still a little slow going. If you're kind of doing it on your own and you only own one of them, you have to actually play a lot just to even grab a plot of land. And until you have a plot of land, anything that you build or decide to kind of partake in is really at risk to anybody sniping it from you, destroying it, whatever. And that does happen quite frequently. I actually even stashed a chest away in a very like obscure spot, and somebody pulled it out and found it. So I mean, I know that people can kind of not hack the game, but exploit it a little bit to do stuff. So I just wonder if maybe the expectation of land ownership or something was too high. But the renting feature is really cool. I do think that this is going to have some staying power. But the biggest takeaway I have from it right now is if you own these, you can rent them out and that's great and earn some passive stuff, but it really is just dependent on people wanting to play Minecraft. Like there's no in-game incentive to do better or build an ecosystem yet. Now I hope that's coming. But I mean, if you own one of these and you're not renting it out, like you really only incentivized to have it if you actually want to sit there and play Minecraft, either a little bit or a lot. So that's my takeaway from it. I don't think it's going anywhere yet, but in hindsight, is 2020. But I'm not surprised to see a little bit of a recession here. And maybe as the block token starts to ramp up, maybe there's some additional use cases for it, and some of this land starts to really get sold. Then maybe we'll start to see a little bit of a bounce back with it. But who knows? This is going to be a project that needs to be actively managed by the team. They need to continue building on it, or I mean, people are just going to get bored. It is what it is. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I don't know Minecraft well enough, so I'm deferring to you on that end. I love to bet on teams, and for me, this is a bet on the quote unquote geniuses that started it. So I hope there is more. It was heartening to see the type of sweeps we saw the first day. I don't think those were traders. I think they were people investing in the idea. So I am going to let these ride.
Yeah, I don't have any intention to move mine. I mean, I guess I'm basically break even plus the block token. And I mean, hey, maybe this completely takes on a new life if there's a block liquidity pool that gets set up, and now people can kind of supplement some of their income to get a plot by just adding a little bit more ETH onto it. Some price discovery there could be really interesting. I have seen people now renting out their services on the game, just saying like, I'll help you build, or I'll help you dig or collect resources or whatever, for maybe some block or some ETH. I would love to see maybe some kind of built-in mechanic to prevent people from getting scammed in that regard. But I think that if people want to play this and the devs can actively build this ecosystem, there's lots of things that can happen with it. It just does need to kind of progress to that point. And maybe the next step, I should say, is the liquidity pool.
Yeah, absolutely. I kept asking, what is block worth? And right now you can only use it to buy land. So that's the whole point. If land drops in value, everything around it does as well.
Yeah. The concept of being able to play a game you love, whatever game that is, and yield some tokens due to it is pretty cool though. So if they ever do that for Rocket League, like, sign me the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
right, and then
I don't know anything about.
No, it's all good, man. I just say a fun car soccer with rockets. How can you go wrong? Anyways, other than that, just some things coming up today to take note of. Vivi is doing a Spider-Man drop today. Marvel IP always does pretty well on that. So if you are actively, did you end up downloading and doing Vivi?
Yes, I downloaded it, but I wasn't quick enough. You got to be like, I hear they get botted often.
So you're not using the vibrator in your finger?
No,
not so much. Okay,
not quite. Yeah.
Anyways, for those of you that partake and maybe have a quicker finger than free market, the Amazing Spider-Man drop today. I believe that's at I want to say 1 p.m., but now I don't want to say that out loud, even though I just did. Until I can confirm it for you. It's in the daily drops.
You heard it here first, 1 p.m. If it's at any other time, it's the wrong mint.
Daily drops. There it is. Scrolling down. 11 a.m. I was completely wrong. So that's coming up in 35 minutes. There you go. Kindergarten Baby Apes is minting the rest of their available supply today. Apes always doing well. But who knows with this one? I got to believe at some point we're gonna reach dilution of these projects. But here we are again talking about more ape projects. Did you take a look at these ones at all?
No, I don't look at any of the ape projects that come across.
No, you don't. Not even out of curiosity. I mean, they're sitting slightly.
So many of them cook too.
They do. They really do.
I have no comment. They're all winners. I just I don't know. I just don't. I have zero interest.
Yeah, you just not something you want to. No, I mean everybody has their trading style, their their NFT style, and if you don't want to mint and quick flip all the time, there are tons of other ways to do really well in this space. I actually kind of
It's all hot potato, and I'd be so scared to have one of those end up in my wallet for life. I just it's not worth that risk. No amount of money is worth that risk.
I'm on the same fence as you. I don't participate in a lot of these drops, although I am a hypocrite and I did mint those fucking basic Bored Ape club or whatever, the punk pixel derivative of Bored Apes. But it was just such low cost that I figured, what the hell. But yeah, I mean, kindergarten baby apes, it could be a thing, sitting about 50% over mint price. There's still a lot of them to go though. There's 2,100 minted, and so they got 8,000 supply left to go through. Not the worst kind of pre-sale participation. So yeah, and then there's the disto apes, which I thought this minted forever ago, but I guess this one's still kicking around. This one doing much better. It's 0.07 mint, and it is sitting at about 0.2, and there are not many of them left to go. It looks like the public sale is going live at 5 p.m. There is only about 700 of these left. So the fact that they are about 3x the mint price, I gotta believe that they're gonna go fast, and they are there's gonna be maybe a bit of a gas war on this one.
I like my furries to have fur. That's why I don't buy it.
Is that the criteria that you follow? Yeah.
Yeah. I want them to be really furry from head to toe, no skin showing.
All right. Well, on that note, the show is actually, on that note, if you guys want to start putting your hands up and want to come join us on the stage to talk a little bit, we had a lot of great questions in the comments yesterday, and kept the show going for quite a while, which is awesome. You can start throwing your hands up.
I just wanted,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and a huge shout out to me for selling the Pico top on Alien Friends 2 days ago, as that has now crashed back down to 0.19, a collection I love. And I reluctantly sold my Ice Head because I just thought it got a little frothy, and I will be shopping it back today. So I just wanted to shout out the Alien Friends. Love that collection. I think it's a 0.2 right now, last time I checked, and I think that's a pretty fair price. I do think it could fall to 0.15. But cool, man. Alien Friends, Little Lemon Friends. I love these collections.
Yeah, those things were like back to back talks of the town. Last week, they haven't gone anywhere. What's Lemon's at? Still hanging around about 0.1, and I think Cool Man's
0.1
still
right
hanging
now.
around 0.2. But you know what? I mean, we talk about the CoinBase and some other NFT marketplaces kind of coming online, and these seem like prime for the picking for people that are looking for good profile pictures, or even just good investments that aren't super expensive. 0.1, 0.2 is a much more palatable price to get in on these things than even like a 0.8 point. You're probably starting to get really expensive for newer people above that 0.5 mark. So I think that these have some room to go, and yeah, we'll keep an eye on it.
GM, sir.
GM Cass.
GM R2 Degen. Do you know what? There was I think there's someone called R8 Degen, which I got confused with you for a hot second.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's turned up into the server. Have you?
Imitation is the highest form of flattery. I'll take it.
No,
that's Yamar.
I believe this. Yeah, this person gambles on Bond because they play the rates. That's why they're rate.
Oh, rate Degen, got it.
Rates.
There
you go.
Sick.
Nailed it.
So the Wulfz show yesterday. That was a bit.
Oh God, I
fun.
forgot they were revealing, weren't they?
Yeah, they revealed. And don't get me wrong, the artwork was. This is the problem with fucking NFTs and JPEGs, isn't it? Yeah. So we all know I love a certain Wulfz project, and any Wulfz project that's popped up, I've always said, "Fuck off, nah, fuck this, no." Whatever the team is, whatever the dev is, it's like you copied, so just leave. But then this one, I managed to get a whitelist on, so I was like, do you know what? I might as well mint. So I minted, and I waited, and I saw the price go up, and then I saw the price go down, and I got out the moment it revealed because I thought to myself, you know, the profile pic I was putting in this room, I was comparing it to that, and I was looking at both of them side by side when I was saying, this is shit.
Well, I actually like the art and all the previews I saw for Wulfz. I definitely am a P2E fan, so if there was some sort of game attached, I found it compelling. And I'm just being honest, though. I thought after the reveal, a lot of the commons were underwhelming. And I think this is a trap we talk about in NFTs a lot. Swampverse felt like the opposite to me, where I thought the commons looked really good. And I don't dislike the commons on the Wulfz, but I'd be hard pressed to tell them apart if I saw, 15 of them in the chat. If it's a compelling game, I probably still would participate. But for me, it was just the commons were a little underwhelming, and that is subjective. I just thought they looked a little.
Well, I'm not being funny. Another reason why I pulled the trigger to get out was I went in their AMA just before they revealed. Now, it just didn't sound unique. It just sounded like the same thing again and again and again. And the only difference this time being is, you only need one. But then, if when we were chatting in the lounge, in the voice chat, and I was talking about Etherhawks and how I do it by itself and do it for free. And I was just thinking to myself, like, why am I? They were even talking about VX models like at the end of the year, when some people are talking about VX models by the end of Q1. So it just didn't seem. It didn't seem something I was like, oh my god, wow, this is exciting. It just seemed like, oh my god, this is another stake and make project, just with cool anime art. And one of the main reasons I did go into it was because of the anime art. But I weren't impressed. But that's just me. I'm not flooding or nothing. Just me.
No, it's good. I'm looking at them right now, and like, I don't mind the art. The one thing that like kind of I'm gonna echo that Free Market mentioned was that like there's not a lot of differentiation to some of them, especially around the floor. I mean, the color palette is a little subdued, like it's subtle, like it's supposed to be that. Like I get the style that they're going for, and they actually did it pretty well. But for how good some of it actually is, there's a couple of traits on here that like I just thought were actually kind of complete misses, if I'm being honest with you. Like some of the eyes look pretty good, like that like standard kind of cartoony anime eye that you see on almost all of them looks pretty decent. And then like some of the ones that like I'm pulling up right now, like I don't know, this one looks it looks weird to me. So yeah, I think they went too heavy on the hair traits too. Like there's just a lot of different like hairstyles which don't, people want like interesting, more interesting stuff. And like while they did them, they executed it well. I just don't find them all that interesting to look at sometimes.
This is what it was. I just didn't feel that. And everyone's different. Everyone's an individual. Everyone can. The more I'm going into this field, I think I'm more loving the art more than anything else, and the community as well. So yeah, I just unfortunately I just had to get out. I don't know, just didn't feel right. Just fuck it. It didn't feel like Star Wars. Oh, that's real. Like that's what it was. Talking about artwork though, I managed to get my artwork from the little baby muse. I think I showed you guys a preview of the rugged little baby project that is trying to kind of come back with new artwork. And I think I showed you samples of it. I'll put some in the AM chat. I've managed to get like a Maury looking, which was like, what? Yeah, I put it in the AM chat show. So have a look. These are the ones I'm getting.
Sorry, I'm just getting there right now. Oh yeah, you've dropped these a couple of times. They're the ones that redid the artwork, right?
Yeah, I just really like them.
They look a lot better now.
I don't know when they're going to come out, but they do, don't they?
Yeah, a lot better.
So, and yeah, and just been whitelist galore yesterday. I think everyone's forgotten about Christmas spirit and just whitelist spirit at the moment. So that's all I've been doing yesterday.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's about it, guys, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's always
just waiting for you guys to kind of drop.
It's always the good a good idea when things kind of like, you know, seem not a whole lot seems to be happening for brief periods of time, to just really spend the time to dig in and find some of your own hidden gems, or even just, you know, like free market's very good at, is just finding those existing projects that might be ripe for a kind of a, you know, a renaissance or something like that, right?
Talking about that, what was that foggy project that free market was talking about? Was it
the CreatureToadz?
What was it?
CreatureToadz?
Oh my days! Like, dude, when I was watching that on Icy Tools, all I kept thinking was, I swear this Donny was talking about this as a joke. What does he know that no one knows at the moment? Because he was joking, and I literally saw the price at whatever it was when free market was talking about it. And I don't like the art personally, but I was like, I can see why this could move. I'll go away, get some whitelists, come back, and it's gone to the moon. I was like, free market knows something, but he was just not letting on. I've got to pay more attention to them little words that he pays.
Cass, I swear he holds out on me all the time too. He'll tell me what's up, but he doesn't tell me why it's up, I think. No, I'm just kidding.
I have been sweeping a new prod. It's not even new. I feel like I've talked about it a few times, but my next CreatureToadz is Breakfast World, which I believe is still even minting. I have to go research this because I'm pretty sure unrevealed ones just showed up on the floor a few seconds ago, because there were little GIFs that were moving showing samples. So I think people are literally still minting these for under 0.01. I don't even know. Maybe they're free. I got to go look. Let's find Breakfast World. But yeah, that's my next one. I've been buying it. It had a moment. Gremplin actually made a 1 of 1 for this collection. This was pushed by a lot of NFT people, and it launched literally into the teeth of the bear. Like, whereas every other project, like Little Lemons, was like, oh, we're going to postpone it. We're going to do it. This one was like, we're going to go ahead. We're launching right into the teeth of the bear market. And to our surprise, it actually minted out. Like, it had been weeks of nothing even being able to mint out, and we were all watching this Breakfast World. It looked like it minted out. Even, I don't know. I guess I'm wrong, because there are still some to be minted right now, but it was very popular. I know it got swept by Sneaky Ninja Pants and a few others, and then it just died. So that's my next CreatureToadz right there. But I think you could still mint them from the site, so we have to research that.
Could we have a link, please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll drop the link to the OpenSea in the chat. Yeah, I mean the general out
beat you.
Did you? You did. Yeah, you did. Quick draw. The general gist of it was that they say that there's going to be 6,969 of them. There's 3,200 of them available for on OpenSea right now. So you know, these did mint. It was a while ago, right? Free market looks like 2 months ago they started minting, and now we're gonna try and figure out if you can still mint them, or if it's just worth it to keep sweeping the floor, or if it's worth it to buy them at all. But yeah, like, you know, we've talked about it a couple times. Free market tends to find these projects, and you know, I've seen it happen enough that I at least indulge the conversation and take it seriously, for sure.
You guys once again for a wonderful show, and thank you for having me up once again.
You got it.
And
See you tomorrow for the last show ever.
See you tomorrow.
Of 2021, indeed.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not gonna get fuck up like I did last time when you done that. I got so upset. You must have put a post saying, "This is the last." What the fuck? No.
I also proclaim that this is our 1,000th show this morning, which it absolutely is not. I think we're around 50 though. They're for somewhere around 50. I gotta keep a count of them or something. I'm not one for like milestones aren't like super important for me.
And it's still a cool metric to have, man, because going forward, you never know.
We have not missed a weekday show in I think 2 months though.
No, you missed one.
Did we?
Yeah, you missed one. You missed one the day before Christmas Eve.
No, we did it. We just the recording got messed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you haven't.
That was our first day trying to stream to YouTube or something, and we had that echo. We had some technical difficulties, and we just had to scrap the recording. But yeah, no, we did. We went live that day.
No, that's good. I missed that day, so that's probably why. I missed the day.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah,
we'll forgive you. I had in King.
Right, I'll come.
Cass, thank you so much, my friend. We'll get you tomorrow. I invited King Wizard up onto the stage. I saw you had your hands up, and then I'm not sure if you declined it or not. So I threw you another invite in case you wanted to come up and show off that pretty Swampverse PFP you got there. There he is.
Hey, good morning, guys.
GM, my friend. How you doing?
Doing okay, man. I joined AlphaMint I believe 3 weeks ago, and the AM show literally lines up with my work because I work from home. So
amazing.
I'll be on my computer and I'll be listening in the background to what you guys have your insight for certain projects. So I kind of wanted to pick at your brains and see what do you guys have planned for the next few months or so for certain projects? I don't know if you guys are I know Free Market has been he's super bullish on those CreatureToadz, but I've been looking at a few projects and just like I said, I wanted to pick at your brain. So one of the projects, yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw, there was a 500 ETH sale for the mechas. Did you guys see that?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think there was some healthy skepticism around the legitimacy of that sale, but yeah,
there was
definitely saw that.
There was some digging that was done, and it does seem to be related wallets that were moving that money around. So it definitely looks like a wash trade. Someone trying to pump their mecha bags.
Yeah, so it definitely bring a lot of attention towards the mechas, but
it worked,
even beyond that, because that was I actually got into NFTs around August. I was mainly into DeFi crypto coins and whatnot. So that's where I was living at up until August. And one of my friends, he actually bought a Bored Ape for 10 ETH, and he was like, "Hey man, get into the markets or whatnot." So then I ended up trying to get it whitelisted for the mechas, and that was a complete shit show. So I managed to accumulate some ETH, and I actually bought mechas at the top. I believe I bought it at 5 ETH, and that shit just crashed out to 1 ETH. So yeah, this space isn't that. This space is definitely not forgiving for sure. So I've been taking my time and actually learning from others and whatnot, and trying to get their insight. So I believe that 2022 is going to be the year for the mechas. I think that they're going to actually come back. I'm still holding mine, not just because I'm biased towards it, is because what they're hinting at, the owner of not the owner, the creator. I don't know if you guys know him. His name's Julian.
No.
He's been talking really close with the CoinBase NFT platform, and I don't know if you guys saw that they're going to get listed on the NFT.
That was
CoinBase
one of their
platform.
initial announcements.
So he's been hinting.
Right?
Yeah, recently, yeah. And so I'm looking at it now. The floor is pretty reasonable for entry. I know the 5 ETH, anything above 3 or 5 ETH is completely unsustainable for most, unreachable for most. But I believe some people I recommend you guys take a look into it and share your thoughts on it, because I honestly think that they might do well these next couple months, even with a lot of these normies coming in with the the onboarding of the NFT platform from Coinbase. So I just want to get your thoughts on that.
And it's a great point in the sense that I think if you were not deep in NFTs, you may not even know that Meka was a flop. In fact, when they had 250,000 people in their Discord, a large number of these were not people involved with NFTs. This would have been the first NFT for a lot of people if they managed to snag that whitelist. And I don't think they may have seen the price go up and down, but I don't think they understood the internal NFT nuances and stuff that we have been talking about for months in regard to Mekaverse. And I could totally see an average person getting onto Coinbase, Mekaverse being literally the only NFT collection they know besides CryptoPunks, seeing that it's under 1 ETH and thinking to themselves, oh, this could be the next CryptoPunks. It's the only one I know. I think your thesis is completely valid in relation to Coinbase and Meka.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't super kind to Mekaverse at the time. And it's kind of something that's fallen off the radar for sure. The fact that it's kind of holding that 1 ETH floor, I don't want to say is incredible to me, but I guess pretty impressive. Tons of volume traded. I mean, this was especially from the developer's standpoint, an incredibly successful project in that regard. There was some manufactured hype. They had some issues with the reveal and whatnot, but like Free Market said, those stuff tend not to matter the more and more people that come into the space later. Like, I don't know how many people are going to jump in, see a Mekaverse, and then start to go like, let's really deep dive into the history of these things. Like, there's that initial, like, you either like it and you don't. We talk a lot about Metaverse coming to fruition and the fact that these are going to kind of transcend from a profile picture into a an actual character that you can use and around. And if there's one thing that mechas are going to be a lot better for is an actual Metaverse avatar, standing side by side with each other. I never thought that they made great profile pictures due to the lack of variety. But you take these things into full 3D, and I think that they're very high quality works of art. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to watch. It's definitely something that's going to be highly featured on Coinbase as probably a premier project. And it all depends on how much liquidity you're willing to have sunk into one of these projects. Like, if you're floating 2 ETH, and you're trying to mint, you're trying to get on pre-sale lists, you're trying to accumulate some longer holds underneath the surface, are you going to burn 50% of your liquidity on a Meka? I don't think so. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be a good trade. It might just not be a good play for you. But yeah, I mean, if you're sitting on a pile of 20 ETH and you're looking to spread these things around, like, there's definitely a lot of merit still to Mekaverse.
Yeah, I 100% believe that. Also, I believe that the Mechas did cause that bear market that we experienced towards the end of October. Like, honestly, like seeing because I had a Mecha and I put all my liquidity into it, and I saw it go from I believe I bought in at 4 ETH all the way to 9 ETH, and not having that experience that I have now to get in and get out. Now I'm seeing it and I have hard regret for it, but it is what it is. Like, you move on, and I've heard the saying eyes forward. So
yeah, I think a lot of that pre-sale fun that was going on, I mean, they drew it out for I think almost 10 days. And these things were trading at, like you said, 5, 6, 7, 8 ETH. There were a lot of people that knew that dinging one of the one-of-ones or a rare one was going to yield them a very, very big payday. So I think a lot of big players were toiling around in that mud. But the general sentiment at the time, I don't think anyone thought that it was going to sustain that post reveal.
Mm-hmm. Also, I have another question. This is not about mechas, but the whitelist meta that we're currently experiencing now, with the grind culture for certain discords, the Twitter engagement, and all of that goes into it. Do you feel like that eventually is going to die off because of the demands that we might experience with a lot of people coming into this space? Like, will there be NFT launch pads that we're gonna have to shift over and then get like random tickets to pull, like maybe get whitelisted or whatnot? Do you think that's gonna change?
Yes, I think that the launch dynamics that we know and love are going to change drastically over the next year. Nobody has figured out the right balance or model yet. And the people who have great launches, there's a little bit of luck involved, that the method that they chose just happened to work out. Now, it's not all luck, and there are certain ways you can increase your chances of having a smooth launch, but honestly, you really never know how the market is going to react to something until it's out in the market. So I think that as much more mature business entities start coming into this market, you are going to see launch dynamics and allow listing, which is what it's being called now, to change a lot over the next year. So yeah, I totally agree. I think raffles are going to be a big part of it. I think if you look at Top Shot, which already has that type of 300,000 people per drop demand, the only fair way for them to do it is a raffle. And I do think raffles can skew and reward people who are OGs or who do a lot of activity on the chain or whatever it is. But I do think we are going to move more and more to raffles, which will be frustrating to those of us that are used to grinding our way onto allow lists. But yeah, I think it's
I think raffles are probably a little more respect, like they respect people's time a little more, right? Like, some of the pre-sale grinding that people have to do, projects take it a little bit far. There definitely ends up being some fatigue, and then there's projects that make it a little bit too simple to do it, and people jump into the Discord, type one word, and then leave, and they forget that they have it. I think both can stifle the success of a project's launch. Raffles seem to be a little bit more immediate if you do it, an hour before the launch and whatnot. I think immediately anybody that wins that raffle is raring to go to mint. I think that's going to cause a lot more successful launches. And I just, the meta always kind of seems to shift almost like on a week to week or a month to month basis with these things. For a while there, it was big scheduled drops. Everybody knew that they were coming, and then it shifted into stealth launches. But then the hacks started happening, and it was too easy to be exploited with a stealth launch because nobody knew what the expectation was for the minting process. Then the pre-sale lists started up after that. And people started to kind of try and find their way into how to manage them, and then a lot of poor management of it happened, and then you saw like a shift back into some more stealth launches and stuff like that. So I actually really just completely agree with free market that that raffles might end up being the way, and you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some, but it's probably just the most even kind of way to manage it, honestly, without pissing people off, because people get pissed off when they don't get on the pre-sale list. I was in this Discord and I was typing away and I drew this picture and I, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're always gonna alienate some people that don't get on the pre-sale list, and with a raffle, it kind of just feels like it is what it is. I got it or I didn't.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I mean, what I'm trying to do is I want to get ahead of these trends, because obviously I want to be successful in this space. So I kind of want to see these trends before they happen. I know that the biggest trends that we're going to see probably this year are with gaming related NFTs or game related platforms. Like, there's a lot of different ones. I don't know if you guys heard of Phantom
Yep.
Galaxies. They have their alpha out.
That was
Like,
that
I've
was
been
the
playing
biggest hack
that.
of the year too, if you recall correctly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
shit ton of ETH was
a
sent to
lot,
them. Yeah,
millions.
I was away from I was away from my computer during that when they actually came out. I honestly just don't immediately go mid. So I know a lot of people got burned
A
by it,
lot.
but
Yeah, that was a bad one.
I'll, yeah, for sure. But that one I'm bullish on. Hopefully the mecha is established. Like, they hire somebody that could actually develop the entire gaming world around the mechas, maybe they'll have like success. Like there's a lot of different ways that a lot of different projects that are out now that definitely worth your time to look into. So I appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Thanks for coming up, man.
Appreciate you coming up. Great topics, and I appreciate you listening while you're supposed to be working. I won't tell anybody, I swear.
Oh no, I don't really give a shit. It's my day job, man. I work at home. I'm by myself, but whenever because I have to go into the office, I listen into you guys. So I can't really start talking to you guys during mid work. But also, another thing that also brought me to AlphaMint is also because I was following Cloud Cobain and he changed his name, I believe. Who was that? Cloud Cobain?
Yeah,
I think that was R2.
Yeah,
right?
that's me. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was actually following you, and I was just following all the different Star Wolves, and I was just like, okay, now I found all of them, and I ended up following all of you guys. So it led me here, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm definitely gonna be sticking around. So
Love it.
I'll be talking to you guys.
Cool, man. Anytime you want.
Take care, guys.
All right. If you want, we can do this for another couple minutes. If anybody else wants to throw their hands up, I think we can probably make time for one more person to jump up on the stage with us. If not, we can wrap it up. What's your day looking like, Free Market?
Well, I sold my gas coin yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw this other free airdrop. We were watching it live on the show yesterday, and I had been given a free 0.2 on one of my wallets. I only claimed it from one, and it proceeded to crash like 60 to 70% on the show and then over the day, and it looks pretty dead and depressed. Then they announced some announcement in the Discord that had it pumping, and it actually got back up to 0.2, and I dumped it. And my first thought was I should dump this and roll it into SOS. SOS had equally seen a pole axing from both Ethereum crashing and this other airdrop. You know, if you are the guy, right, and you're this free airdrop no one understands and everyone expects copycats, then the copycats come. Well, you expect liquidity to fly away from that first one and into these other ones. But wow, SOS after hitting 0.00003 is now back up to 0.00006, which is a double just in the last 2 hours here. So I am watching SOS again. I firmly believe if this coin were done, it would already be at zero. It's strange that it's still holding basically a 7x from the airdrop, even though, as far as I know, everybody who wanted to sell sold. Anyone holding now, I think, believes in whatever pie in the sky concept is there. So I'm watching my SOS coin today. I'm going to be giving Critterz another whack on the Minecraft and seeing if I could find some enjoyment there. And I will be trying to ape Breakfast World every time gas falls under 100. But man, it doesn't stay there long nowadays.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be jumping on them to Minecraft for a little bit today. If you're doing the same thing, maybe we can link up there. But yeah, this cool. should be a pretty good day. So I think on that note, we could probably wrap things up for the morning show. Just a reminder that we do have the guys from Zen Ledger jumping in with us at 1:30 Eastern today. So we're going to be talking about what they got going on, as you know, obviously taxes are a reality in this world, and you know, come January 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, or whenever you decide to do it, it's going to be coming up. So that's going to be a great talk. Very excited to link up with those guys and have the conversation. And as always, if you're late to the show or you missed any of the previous ones, check out YouTube, Spotify. They're all there, except, as Cass pointed out, the December 23rd one. So sorry about that. Free Market, you want to take us away?
Good luck at the tables, degens.
Peace.